sports, showing people that it is no longer for losers. It is no longer for not do-gooders. Look, my background is law. And I did a bit of politics, but I came out of politics and I came back in the private sector only to be focused in sports. Do you know what I did? I went back to school to do a postgraduate degree in sports because I saw the writing on the wall. Right now, we're only scratching the wall on the multi-billion, trillion of dollars involved in sports globally. Have you heard of esports? Have you seen how Nigerians are excelling in esports? Do you know that a 13-year-old kid won $3 million from playing esports? Do you know the amount of young boys and girls who have become independent of their parents in Nigeria just for playing esports? Wow. Sport is too much into building our society, and we need to give it the respect it deserves.
Oh wow, oh wow. I think Mr. Olopade, you came to break my table today, but you know what? Let's take a very short break. Yeah. When we come back from the break, we'll continue this amazing conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back. On sports tourism potential, right, in Nigeria. Please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. I mean, he's just touching all angles of the conversation, like, you know, whipping up a lot of... And these things are actually real, right? It's so real. You can even feel it. But I have a feeling that maybe because some of the sports is individual based, you know, I don't know, maybe that's why the attention is not, the government is not paying a lot of attention. Maybe if we had probably like, I don't know, if we had maybe a group kind of sports, you know, the only thing that we have like group sports are the football. We don't even really have basketball here in Nigeria. So, and that's what the government does.
Should encourage different sports.
That's the one that the government really pays attention to. So
when we talk about sports in Nigeria, you said your sister registered her boys in the Barcelona club, right?
Yeah.
And I have a son who loves football. I'm trying to encourage him. So I also want to register my son in the Chelsea club. Yeah, because of everything I've heard about it. So why is it that we are going abroad to register these children?
To bring the clubs.
Yes. Okay. So it's we definitely see a gap here. So why do we need to go abroad to register? Those clubs. Why can't we look within?
In fact, I will now burst your bubble. So God rest his soul, the passing of Deji Tinubu, right?
Okay.
Afterwards, the management of the club just went like this. So now she has pulled them out of that club. They are in a smaller club now. In fact, they are going to Dubai in April.
What club is that?
It's a smaller club in, I can't even remember the name, right? They've pulled them out of that club. They're going to Dubai in April to go and participate in a football tournament for children. All of them. If you see how much they are paying to take the children to Dubai to go and pay, each child, I think it's about maybe $6,000 or something, or two of them. I can't remember how much it is. But that is money. That is Dubai economy that would enjoy, you know, and all of that. So, Mr. Lopade, if you're there, help us out, please. What's happening?
All right. Again, I think from this discussion, I believe strongly there must be a huge mass education of Nigerians on the way sports works in this country.
Okay.
First of all, those boys or girls were registered with the Barcelona teams right here in Nigeria.
Yes.
So, but your colleague there does not know that. They are registered right here in Nigeria. It's like the way you talk about Chevron and Mobil and foreign companies coming to do telco. Those foreign clubs discovered what we have not discovered. that we are a breeding ground for talent. So they brought their money to Nigeria to invest. We have Real Madrid in Rivers State. Yes, they brought the academies to Nigeria. We have Real Madrid in Rivers State. I know authoritatively that teams like Atletico Madrid are also planning to come because they finally discovered there's a gold mine here. But let's talk about the Nigerian project. The best football academy today, and one of the best 5 in the world, is based in Ikene, owned by Kule Shoname, Remo United, where 10 billion naira has been invested to build for Nigerian local children and for the indigent children. So it is not true that even amongst us in Nigeria here, we are not pulling our weight. It is not true they are taking these children abroad. I am a club owner, Nilayo FC, which became Stormers of Abeokuta, with young children being given the opportunity to excel. But the truth of the matter is, we need to educate one another on the effort that is being put by so many people to empower our children and create breadwinners from our children through sports. We must do everything possible to support private organizations who are putting their money behind this empowerment.
Okay, so I like your...
Again, sorry.
Go ahead.
Football is not the only sport that is played in groups. Majority of our special people who play sports, they play in groups. Badminton is played in groups. Okay. Table tennis is played in groups. Swimming, the medley, is a relay, is in groups. We have private teams from individual sports. Even in Scrabble, even in chess, is a team work across board. There is no excuse for not the power of sport just because they think it's all about football. It is not true. And again, I'm saying there must be huge education around the country, but more importantly,
I think the government should continue to promote sports or sporting activities, or you think it's something that is best handled by the private sector? What do you think?
It has to be a symbiotic relationship. Okay. You can never, look, it is the responsibility of government to empower young people all over the world. It is the responsibility of government to empower young people. Now, if there is a dynamic that we can play up to create employment for young people, that is the responsibility of government. So government can never take their hands out of sport. And I challenge you to show me any country in the world. And I've been all over. I wrote theses on how the Australians, the Jamaicans, the Americans, how they've evolved. It is government funded. It is only when you now encourage the private sector through tax reliefs, through enhancement of business, through patronizing them and recognizing them, that more private sector people will throw their money into sports development, and you will have a near perfect situation where the government and the private sector would have come together to create a lot of employment through sports.
Okay, so talking about, let's stay on the government, right? Winter Olympics is happening, I think, in Japan. The World Cup happened, the African Cup of Nations happened in Cameroon and all of that. How can we start to see some of these things being brought to Nigeria? You know, no matter what it is, if we are hosting, right? If we're hosting, what's it called, World Cup, or we are hosting maybe African Cup, or hosting any of these major tournaments that happen globally, that is a big, huge, what's it called? It will have a huge impact in our economy, in our GDP. So how can we ensure that Nigeria is positioned for that? What should be put in place?
You see, we need to first of all appreciate what we have. Right in front of you, a few kilometers away from your studio, we are putting together a world-class iconic finish area for a road race that has become iconic globally. A road race that is discussed on CNN, Al Jazeera, everywhere. And we fail to recognize that we have something that is almost bigger than AFCON. The Access Bank Lagos City Marathon is the biggest one-day event in Africa, the biggest sponsored sporting event in Nigeria ever. And yet, we talk about people hosting stuff. Okay, let's talk about that. Where was Cameroon when we hosted the world in Under 17 World Cup? Where were they? Where were they when we hosted the Nations Cup? We've hosted a lot of stuff, and we keep hosting. And I'm sure we'll continue to host. In 2018, you followed me to the fundraising dinner of the African Athletics Championship in Asaba.
Delta State, yes.
That was an amazing event, hosted by Nigeria seamlessly. We need to start appreciating what we have and what we do. We cannot continue to be the ones condemning the value that we bring to the table.
Okay, let's stay on the marathon, because I'm happy that you are saying that we're not promoting, but you know that's why we actually decided to have this conversation, because we understand what you're doing, and we do not want it to just go and slide like that as if nothing happened. Something is happening, and something huge has happened, it will happen tomorrow, on with the marathon, right? But what do you think we can do to make it even bigger and better? This marathon has the capacity to bring people from all over the world. Every year, first of all, Mr. Buki, it's always Kenyans that are collecting our money and carrying our money back. But let's keep that aside. How can we get it to become a rave? It's just like the way Cameroon hosted the World Cup. The whole of Cameroon would know that something is happening, right? How can we even make the ones that we have gotten right? I mean, for 7 years, is now on the elite label. You say it's just one more to platinum and all of that. That's a beautiful thing. So how can we move it to that level where it now even like almost triples, or quadruples the kinds of attention that it's getting, to even make it a bigger, better event? What should be put in place?
I know who is from Edo State, and I know they fly a lot there. Who I just spoke like she was flying around me a few minutes ago. Because a few minutes ago, I mentioned to Mr. Amechi Okobi of Access Bank, and we discussed a strategy that will blow up world media. Wait for it. We are making an announcement that will elevate this marathon from where it is today to 10,000 miles away from where it is, and elevate it beyond anybody's comprehension. However, let's talk about what it is today.
Yes.
People have been calling me to say, thank you for always telling us the date a year ahead. We do not put our wedding date on your date because you shut down Lagos. I've done more than 15 interviews in the last 4 days from all over the world. We have the BBC planning to document this tomorrow. And we have so many people around the world talking about it. Do you know that last year, that we reduced the number of people who ran? We trended #1 for 1 week. Check tomorrow and see what the trends will be like. And if Access Bank Lagos Marathon is not trending #1, #2, come back to me and say, Bukola, you guys are not doing anything.
Comments. Oh wow. Bukola Olopade. We are going to come back to you definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, so I totally hear him and I believe everything you're saying. Well done. Kudos to everything that you're doing. I think the federal government definitely have to step up, because like what we always say when we talk about economic growth in regards to any sector at all, we talk about the government, you know, creating an enabling environment.
Absolutely.
So now we're talking about tourism
and sports.
So we'll go back to insecurity issues. We'll go back to lack of infrastructure, things that we need in Nigeria. We're talking about good roads. We're talking about electricity.
Airports,
We're talking about airports. We're talking about all these things. So are these factors going to discourage these people from coming into Nigeria, even if we have something good? You understand? So there's the part of having something that is good enough to export, and there's the other part of having it good enough to make them come, irrespective of
but
other
okay,
underlying
I think Bukola
issues.
Olopade can actually respond to that. How has it been, you know, receiving the delegates and all of that, so whenever this event is happening, is it seamless for the people that come into Nigeria, so that more people listening can say, you know what, next year I'm going to be in Nigeria?
Yes.
So listen, I think the last question is very apt. What this government has done that I really like with regards to what we are doing with this race is the seamless approach towards getting a visa. It has been said that the Nigerian visa is one of the most difficult visas to get.
In the world, yes.
But it has been simplified for us. I am not always convinced when people talk about Nigeria in relationship to insecurity, this, that. I'm not saying it's not there, but it is all over the world. When the IRA were bombing the United Kingdom, they were still hosting the European Cups. They were hosting international events, and they were doing everything to secure their countries and their cities. Ditto the United States. At the Boston Marathon a few years ago, a bomb went off. What the general manager of that race said was that we're going to continue our race tomorrow, as we are not going to allow little-minded people to take away our way of life. Nigeria is a very secure place. Lagos is one of the most modernized cities today in this world. I don't care what anybody says. Modernization is pervading the air in Lagos. And that's why we can have beautiful women, intellectually gifted, having this debate on a platform that they own. It is modernization. It is growth. It is security. It is awareness. So we have a race that has been bringing between 1,000 to 4,000 people every year. Can you show me any other tourist attraction in Nigeria that does that?
That deserves a round of applause. Let's take a comment.
Okay, so this comment by Wei Yamdi says, Queen of Talk, let's face it, sporting activities have gone beyond mere pastime activities. They are now money spinners, huge sources of jobs, national development and cohesion. The onus is on the managers of our sports sector to overhaul the sector. The citizens, the media and athletes must put pressure on the government to do the needful in terms of good laws that will reform the sector. The private sector too must be wooed into investing in sports.
All right, so
I believe.
Mr. Olopade, we have like a minute to go. If you had something to say to us and to the government, what would that be as regards the potential for Nigerian sporting industry?
I believe the last 3-4 years have been amazing. And you know, the last time I was in your studio, I did mention the beautiful job Honorable Minister Sunday Dare is doing. And I see a lot of traction. But I must also give credit to the private sector. A few weeks ago, Amaju Pinnick and I announced a monumental sponsorship from Stanbic IBTC for football. Today, I just told you that Access Bank Lagos City Marathon is the biggest one-day event in Africa and the richest marathon in Africa. I wasn't the one that said that. That was Murray Williamson, the man who measured the Olympics 4 times consecutively. So things are happening. But to you ladies at the studio, I'm especially inviting you to come tomorrow, meet me at the finish line, and have a wonderful time tomorrow. To Nigerians, please look out on channels, on LTV, and I think SuperSport will be doing a wonderful job bringing the pictures to your home if you cannot make it here. If you can make it here, join me, dance to Zlatan, dance to Tenny, and dance to Wandiko.
Okay,
thank you.
Oga Maketa. Thank you so
for the
much. Very
invite.
soon you have to partner with PlusTvAfrica as well. You cannot be calling other people when we are here. All right, thank you.
Open.
Thank you so much, Bukola Olopade. It's been an amazing chat. All right, so we look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and we wish you a fantastic event, and we know that this will bring many more great events and sporting tourism, sports in the sporting industry in Nigeria. Thank you so much. Thank you, Made. We had a fantastic conversation. All right, so before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagrams at WayShowAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and more importantly, follow all the conversations on social media, like, engage, and share with your families and friends, and tell them to watch and follow us as well. Now, if you missed today's quote, this is a very powerful quote, and I think Bukola Olopade touched very strongly on it. He says, while tourism is often resource intensive, it is a major driver of poverty reduction in developing countries. This quote speaks to the potential that it can actually have to eradicate poverty in Nigeria. So let us pay attention more to the sporting industry. We'll see you guys live on Monday at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.
And now, let's join ace broadcaster Mamode Akuga as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome to the program. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, Mamode Akuga. Today's package is centered on politics in the Niger Delta, and we kickstart with a report on the people's reaction to Governor Udom Emmanuel's recent endorsement of his preferred candidate to contest the Akwa Ibom State governorship election under the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, come 2023.
Democracy is the wish of people, popular choice. Let us see how one person's wish will supersede that of 6.something million people.
In our next report, we'll take a look at the controversy trailing the power rotation principle of the PDP in Delta State under the administration of Governor Ifeanyi Okowa.
Where Okowa go, we'll go. Yeah, we go.
Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region will be back in just a moment. Don't go away.
Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, making a difference.
Welcome back. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. Feeling edgy and unsettled by Governor Udom Emmanuel's recent approval of his preferred successor in office, some interest groups in Akwa Ibom State have spoken out against the governor's action, which they describe as undemocratic. Consequently, they have vowed to revisit Governor Udom Emmanuel's political agenda in 2023, as our correspondent now reports.
Governor Udom Emmanuel finally brought an end to speculations about his successor when recently he anointed Commissioner for Lands and Water Resources, Pastor Uno Eno, as his preferred candidate to contest the 2023 governorship election in Akwa Ibom State under the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Ever since, reactions have continued to trail the governor's action, with endorsements from PDP bigwigs in Akwa Ibom State, save for member representing Etinan Federal Constituency, Honorable Onofiok Luke. Honorable Luke, a contender in the Akwa Ibom governorship race, had in a press statement observed that his governorship aspiration was on course, as he was not consulted in the plan to choose Pastor Eno as consensus candidate of the PDP in the 2023 Akwa Ibom State governorship election. In his assessment of Governor Udom Emmanuel's action, an Uyo-based legal practitioner, Barrister Okwong Otioro, describes it as contrary to the wish of other aspirants within and outside the ruling People's Democratic Party in Akwa Ibom State.
Democracy is the wish of people, popular choice. Let us see how one person's wish will supersede that of 6.something million people. So, and that will tell the kind of populace we are. The end of the matter lies with the electorates.
For his part, Chairman of civil society organizations in Akwa Ibom State, Henry Udo, describes Governor Udom Emmanuel's handpicking of a preferred successor as a reflection of the succession crisis that has continued to bedevil the political space since Nigeria's return to democratic governance in 1999.
That belies the problems we have with the leadership succession in this country and in this part of the world, where we find where elites have captured power and they want to perpetuate themselves in power, and as they transit, they hand over to their acolytes and to their stooges to hold the reins of power for them. This is quite obnoxious indeed, and it's unacceptable.
The controversy trailing Governor Udom Emmanuel's unilateral choice of a successor is gaining momentum and will most likely heighten as the governorship election in Akwa Ibom State inches closer. A governorship aspirant under the platform of the African Democratic Congress, ADC,